Waste less, cook better, and save a bit of dollar. When it comes to food in your household, would you like to waste less, cook better, and save some money? I know that I certainly do. And when the cost of food is so high, wherever you are in the world right now, it is more important than ever to make sure that you try to keep as much of it as you can, and all while doing delicious things that you can eat. And I promise you, in the long run, it will save you money. This is Waste Less and Cook Better. When it comes to food waste, nearly 2.5 billion tons of food went to waste. That is roughly 1/3 or 40% of global production of food that is wasted or lost. And that can be in any format. You've made something to eat and you've got some pesky leftovers in the fridge and you don't know what to do with them, and all of a sudden they go into the bin. Maybe it's the time of the year when things are being produced in mass because it's summer and there is fruit falling off the trees and many a vegetable coming out of the ground. Or you made something already and you've got half a can left of whatever it was you needed because the recipe called for a small amount. I'm going to guide you through some really simple ways and really great things that we can do with all of these different items. Whether it's preserving things that are maybe getting a bit bendy and sad in your fridge, whether it's turning the fruit of yours or your neighbour's tree into something delicious, or it's creating new meals with your leftovers. And it might even be making something delicious to drink. There are so many wonderful things you can do, and I'm going to show you a whole bunch of them. So let's get into this so that you too can waste less, cook better, and save yourself some dollar. So first up, we're going to talk about leftovers. Leftovers. Go have a look in your fridge right now and tell me what you've got in it. Drop it in the comments section down below. Let's see if we can maybe make a meal from it, because I guarantee that nearly all of us cook dinner the night before and end up with little packets of bits and bobs in the fridge. And to be honest, sometimes you don't really want to eat the next day the same thing you already had the day before. So when it comes to leftovers, why not reimagine what you're eating? Often things can be crafted into totally new meals and with only a little bit of effort. I recently made these curry ham pies. I used a little bit of puff pastry and I mixed together my rice, my Bombay potatoes, a little bit of the curry sauce, and broke down some of that chicken. I mixed it all together and packed it into that puff pastry. I baked it in the oven and I had the most delicious curry pies for me and for my boyfriend to take to work. It only took 5 minutes to mix the stuff together and then all I had to do was bake them. It's a simple way to rethink ingredients you already have. Let's take what I've got here. I've got some roasted vegetables from the night before. I've got a little bit of quinoa, a little tiny bit of lamb, and some leftover pasta. Lots of people will have in their fridge just some of the basic stuff like mayonnaises and condiments. Mix them together and you've got yourself a banging pasta salad. It doesn't always have to be something crazy inventive, but how about this? Imagine taking all of these little things and wrapping them up like a Vietnamese summer roll with a gorgeous little peanut butter dipping sauce on the side. You've reimagined your leftovers and you've got something totally different to eat that day for lunch. What do you reckon? What's your favourite leftover and what do you do with it? Next up, we've got summertime abundance. Now, this might not be in the format of your garden. You might not have one. Maybe your neighbour does, and they've got a delicious plum tree that's producing plums like crazy. It might even be that you're at the supermarket and things are much cheaper at the time of the year that they are in season. It's a great time to pick up a little bargain maybe at the supermarket, which is always going to save you a little bit of dollar. And if you want to know another great way to save money when you go shopping, go check out this video. It's all to do with the little bits and pieces that you can do to save yourself money when you go shopping. Things like meal planning, using your leftovers, shopping around, all them kind of things will always save you a little bit of dollar in your pocket. But when it comes to fruit, and it might even be vegetables, there are a couple of things we can do. And I'm going to show you right now how to make one of the simplest things you can make, and it's called Cheong. So it's a preserve, and this, instead of using salt like we might have when we fermented these vegetables and fruit. It's another way of preserving. For the times when it isn't so abundant, is a great way to save some money and have some freshness when it comes to maybe the darker times of the year. Let's get this quick recipe together, and then maybe you can have a think about the things that you might like to make that might be hanging off your neighbour's tree or cheap at the supermarket, so you can make some of these too. So first up, with these plums, we are going to make plum Cheong. It's from Asia, Korea, I believe to be precise, and they would normally make this with a green plum, but it works with anything. And I promise you, the flavour that comes out of these and the multitude of things you can do with it is next level. And even better, it's the simplest recipe possible. All you need are plums and sugar. So here we're using the sugar to preserve these plums, and you can even make this a fermented item. If you want to know a little bit more about fermenting, go check out my beginner's guide. It's an easy, simple video to understand, teaching you all about salt solutions, dry and wet. It's a cracker. Go check it out. Back to the Cheong, and this, all we need to do is wash the plums, find a nice large jar and add some sugar. We need the same amount of plums to the same amount of sugar. And as I said, you can ferment this. So once you've added your layers of plums, sugar, plum sugar, plum sugar, plum sugar, you pop on the lid and you leave it on the side. And because I'm doing this whole, it's going to take a little bit longer for them juices to come out. If you didn't want to ferment this, cut them in half, take out the stone and do the exact same thing. Take the weight of the plum to the weight of the sugar and layer it up in your jar. And there we are. Add 2 Cheongs, slightly different formats. This one I've sliced and added all the sugar to it, and this one I've kept whole. As I started to say in the beginning, the sugar here is doing the fermenting, whereas with these, it's the salt. And you can do this one of 2 ways. This you can leave on the side. I think that often this one is like 100-day fermented, when you just leave everything in there and it sits on the side and it produces this amazing syrup. Or you can do it this way and not ferment the things in here, but just create the syrup. It will probably take about a week. You'll see that all of the sugar starts to dissolve and you start to get a liquid. And basically it's this flavoured syrup that is of the fruit you've put into it. I've made lemon Cheong before, absolutely delicious. You could add spices into here, absolutely anything you like. Yes, it's a lot of sugar, but you're creating a syrup. It's everywhere. And just like that, like nothing happened. Just some slightly sticky shoes, like you're in a bar. Oh well. Happy Friday! Perfect for non-alcoholic drinks, baking with. Imagine a drizzle all over your cake. It would have the most insane apple or plum flavour. It's a really great way of preserving some fruit for another time when it might not be so available. And it's absolutely delicious. And I'll show you, 1 second. This is from an apple Cheong I made in July last year, so it's 6 months old. This is the apple slices from in here. And it's like you've got all these lovely, juicy little pieces. Oh my, oh, it's almost a bit boozy. Oh, imagine that stuffed into an apple pie. Yes, please, I will take some. So as you can see, fermenting food, whichever way, salt or sweet, a great way to preserve things for a little bit longer. And if you're looking for another preserved way of making something to drink, this is a shrub and it's totally different. You use sugar and a bit of vinegar. It's kind of like a cheats kombucha, if you will. And if you want to know how to make this or any of these other recipes, head to my website. It's in the description box down below, disheswithdell.com, and you can find all these amazing things you can do with your kitchen waste and your abundance or your leftovers. Now let's move on to when things are a bit sad or you've got a half can left over from something you cooked. finally, when it comes to wasting less, cooking better and saving money, sad veggies, leftover tubs, half-empty yogurt pots, wilted veg are the culprits of money going in the bin. And when you are getting things like this in your fridge, being really intentional on using them up. Stale bread, leftover rice, cooked porridge oats, sad bits of cabbage, they just accumulate so quickly, and we all do it. I mean, even I try my hardest, and yet sometimes there's just something that, well, does end up looking a bit sad in the fridge. Whether you make it into something like a condiment, whether you ferment it into something you can eat later on, or you make something delicious with what you have now. If you're looking for yogurt ideas, make sure you check out my playlist. Waste less, cook better, save money. It's all in there. And you know, yogurt, insanely versatile. Marinade meat, make delicious flatbreads, use it as a dip. I mean, you can have it with your dinner. It doesn't have to be sweet again, it can be savory. With things like half open cans, coconut milk is always something that ends up in my fridge in my house, because often the recipe doesn't call for everything in the can. You might be making only for two. Again, I've got some great recipes where I used a can of coconut milk to make a delicious creme brulee, and I actually used some sad bendy carrots to make a delicious carrot halva. And if you've never heard of it, it's made with nuts, it's delicious, it's an insane little bite to eat. There are so many wonderful recipes that you can make. You really just have to think about all of these things in a slightly different way, which isn't the leftovers from last night, the not sure what you're to do with fruit in abundance, or the leftover jar of yogurt. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure you give me a subscribe, because there are going to be so many more ways that you can waste less, cook better and save money, and they're all going to be here on Dishes with Del. Follow along for the journey, and if you're interested in this kind of stuff, let me know. I always want to hear from you. Make sure you head to my website too. There's loads of recipes there, and there's also loads of budget meals. So if you're working on a budget, I've got a whole series called Savvy Suppers where I spend $50, because we all know that the cost of living is, well, getting to all of us. I will see you all soon. Make sure you make a Cheong, because it's absolutely delicious, and that's it. So I hope this has encouraged you to use your leftovers, make delicious condiments, drinks, and things that are good for your belly, all out of your kitchen scraps and waste. I'll see you all soon, and for now, I guess I'll make my way through eating these. Oh my God, that plum, look at it, yum. See you later.